Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. We're starting off front page review with The Nation. Major headline: PDP crisis takes new twist with Secondus suspension. Rivers Court axes national chairman. In other news, court orders government striking doctors to halt hostilities. APC secretary, ex-commissioner arraigned in Osun, charged with assault. Youth dominates INEC online voters registration. Buhari, governors, others mourn Aguiyi Rosi's widow. And we have 222 die of COVID-19 in Lagos, Ondo, Osun, Edo. Vaccination begins in Lagos tomorrow. Edo imposes restrictions, and federal government targets tax raise in 2022 to freeze borrowing. 5 feared killed in land grabbers invasion of Lagos, Ogun communities, and gunmen kill 4, abduct 50 others in Zamfara community. So please, I'm interested in what's happening with the young people and INEC registration.
So we need to hail young people, new registrants especially. So they say young persons between ages 18 and 34 have dominated the online voters registration launched by INEC. Wow. And they said in 8 weeks, a total of 1,877,552 entrants. So they gave the number that they have showed that those who have registered for males is over 1.6 million men have registered, over 1.2 million females have registered, over 2 million Nigerians have registered since the portal was launched. And since the portal was launched 28th of June, as of 7 a.m. today, we've had over the 2 million who have registered, and they are new entrants. So it just shows that a lot of people are finding this particular, especially young people, are finding this particular option, this online option, easier, and many people are joining. And I'm really proud of the young people, because right now they are walking their talk.
So well done. We can have more. We can increase it to like 5 million.
But the numbers are quite encouraging. And so
we're getting there. I think we just need more sensitization for people to log into it. So Lagos, Osun, Ondo and Edo state governments yesterday announced that 222 persons have died to the third wave of COVID-19. They said 135 of the 22 fatalities were recorded in Lagos, 70 in Ondo, 13 in Osun, and 4 in Edo State. And they are also saying that, according to Lagos State, vaccination will be starting tomorrow. So they are encouraging a lot of people to come out to be vaccinated. So 3 states, that's the first 3 states I mentioned, Oyo, Edo, Ebonyi, and Zamfara as well, are expected to also begin the second phase of vaccination. But however, Edo State has said that from next month, they are going to make a presentation of the vaccination card very compulsory for citizens to be able to get into churches, mosques, places of burials, and different receptions. So by the time you're going out, you must present your certificate, or you will not be, accepted. And then experts are saying, and a lot of other people are saying, that this is more like forcing people to be vaccinated.
We might be discussing that extensively later today.
Doctors.
Yes, please.
Yes, so the government was able to get an ex parte order stopping the strike, asking people to go back to status quo prior to the strike while they proceed with the full trial. So an ex parte motion usually comes without notice, and the court has given that order, and now they are on notice where the court will now hear the main issue. It has been adjourned to September 15, and doctors are supposed to go back, call off the strike, and go back to work till then. So when that matter is properly heard, that's basically, it's not like the court just woke up and said, doctors, don't strike, or you don't have the power to. But the motion on notice is waiting, while this is supposed to keep things working.
While they're waiting.
That's how it works.
Sadly, 5 people were killed, land grabbers. I had to take the story because I wanted to understand what the issue is. The case was in court. There are 2 different cases, one in Igbokuta, Birigbe community in Ikorodu, and Obada Oko, 2 different situations where the lawyers and the agents went to the land to paste the court order, and they were attacked with machetes. People came with motorcycles, and it was a bloody one that led to the death of 5 people. They said even in one particular case, an expectant mother in the shock fainted and took a lot to resuscitate her, would have led to the loss of her and her baby. You know, so when it comes to, we need to reduce the use of hoodlums in land tussles. Like, let's follow the court of law, and follow the due process. You will not lose your investment if you let the court take its course and not resort to self-help. You know, we can avoid this 5 loss of lives that sadly our heart goes out to the family. Moving on to the Punch, major headline. Petroleum industry acts loopholes. 36 states set up 6-member panel to plan amendments for something that was just signed. And in other news, COVID-19 oxygen usage now 400 cylinders daily, says Sanwo-Olu. Group blames federal government as Saudi Arabia recruits Nigerian doctors. Land grabbers 5 killed, we took that story. PIA host communities fund payment begins August 2022. Lagos artisan allegedly beat 7-year-old son to death over fish. Cholera, Bauchi records highest cases. Disease kills 1,768 in Federal Capital Territory and 23 other states. Anchor borrower CBN incurs 379 billion naira debts. Farmers battle insecurity. Strike continues. NARD insists as court orders suspension. Federal government ASU differ on delay. 30 billion naira revitalization fund. Secondus attacks Wike. Rivers Court suspends PDP chair. Oil prices jump to $68 after days of losses. And discos beg customers as blackout worsen as grid collapse. So we have so many stories, but let's start with the human interest. Please, what's happening?
So
Which boy?
An artisan, Savior Anio Fok, allegedly tortured his 7-year-old son, Nathaniel, to death at his residence in Shangisha, Magodo. So what happened was that a customer brought a microwave for him to repair. And then by the time he was done repairing, he brought a fish to test if the microwave was working. And he forgot the fish in the store and went home. So he took the fish home. That's Mr. Savior, took the fish home so that he would preserve it before the next day that the customer will come and get his fish back. Unfortunately, by the time he got home, he realized that the son had tampered with the fish, and then he beat the boy. So some neighbors were saying that they heard him hitting the boy, slamming the boy, you know, that's not even the first time it happens, that they always hear him beat that boy. But nobody has, you know, said anything to him. Then the stepmother also was not available at the time it happened. So according to the neighbors, they were thinking that the stepmother would have been there to intervene so that the beating doesn't get out of hand. At the end of the day, this poor boy died. Some said they saw him while he was taking him out, that he was lying almost lifeless at the back of the car, and they had perceived all this balm used to probably massage his wounds and all of that. So they just gave different stories. But then the police had, and he ran away, so the police had caught up with him. He told them a different story, that he was not beating him. He was just trying to, he was asking the two of them who took the fish, who tampered with the fish, and by the time he went inside and came back, the boy was running away thinking he was going to beat him up, and then he hit his head on the tile. That was exactly what happened. That he wasn't running away, he was going to see his sick mother and all that. This is a very, very painful story.
That you cannot hide, you can run. Because this was a phone
They found him already.
No, he's not
He's not in the custody yet.
He's not in custody yet. So he's up east and he's saying sit-at-home mother has not made him come out. So
let's take a quick break. When we return, this is such a sad story, very avoidable death. People need to get into anger management and stop beating up children when you are emotionally unstable. When we return, we'll continue with the newspaper review. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us. So we're still doing front page review, dealing with the Punch. And Nima had a story.
The major headline, the PIA, the 6 states have started to, you know, point out the loopholes in the PIA
newly signed.
The 36 Governors Forum chairman announced that. So they've set up a 6-member committee. According to the head of the Commissioners of Finance for States, he announced that and said that the committee will soon send their report to the committee for the implementation of the PIA set up by the president very soon. And they relied on what the chairman of the Governors Forum said about the PIA not having proper, the PIA not being clear on the 3% for host communities and 30% allocation for frontier exploration, which they said was anti-states in the PIA. So we're waiting.
Okay.
Let's see what
there's this Mead Consultants, and they're recruiting doctors for different specialties for Saudi Arabia. And on Tuesday, that will be today, they'll be interviewing all those that have registered. So the correspondent that was investigating the story said that, he tried to reach out to the minister for Ngige for Labor and Employment, and he said, well, this does not fall under me. Talk to the Ministry of Health. They tried to reach the Minister for Health to find out why this is ongoing, because we have doctors on strike, and apparently they're using the opportunity to go for interviews like this. Wow. Doctors are saying they reached out to the president of NAD, and he says, well, if government is not keeping to his part of conversation, and we cannot stop doctors from doing what they are meant to do. He says many Nigerian doctors that practice in Nigeria are doing it just out of patriotism because the conditions of work here, it's just wrong. And so they are going to places where they are better served. Many doctors are saying that they've done this before. In 2018, they interviewed and took away many consultants, medical consultants. So this is ongoing. We should be afraid. Be very afraid.
During the lockdown,
many people moved. It's
this is labor
between
issues.
Both of them, labor and
this is largely labor.
See, the Minister for Health can put pressure on his colleague, the Minister for Labor, to see how to make the affairs of the doctors
better.
So it's a
lazy excuse to say it does not fall under me.
It falls under you,
labor recruitment clearly falls under you, Mr. Minister for Labor. Chris Ngige, Minister for Labor, yes. Thank you,
the CBN in Kiosk says 379 billion naira debt. So they have the Anchor Borrower program, which the president launched in 2015, November, and they gave money to lots of farmers. But the farmers are battling insecurity, and so they have been unable to pay back the debts, which is in total of 379 billion naira. You see, when we don't deal with some issues, they affect many other issues. Our lack of dealing with insecurity has now affected farmers who have now been unable to pay back the debts, and Nigeria is losing money to the tune of 379 billion naira. Moving on to...
Falling apart.
Moving on to Vanguard. Major headline. Strike. Doctors adamant as federal government hails court order. That's, we've taken that story. You can't miss the picture. 15 Bethel students released after 46 days in captivity. We're happy for the families. This is just such an emotional moment from the picture you will see here. NPDC in Ogoni to resume oil exploration. Our dealings with partners transparent. That's from NLNG. Lockdown. Army warns desist or face the law. State of the nation. Nigeria needs right leadership to tackle insecurity. That's from Tamboa. And ban on open grazing stays from Akere Dolu. Court restrained Secondus from parading himself as national chairman of PDP. We're not bothered about internal political crisis right here on the show. There are more pressing issues that we want to deal with, like what's happening in Ogoni.
Following their win, where the appeal court returned the OML 11 to the NNPC, the MPDC, which is the Nigerian Petroleum Development Company, has moved to site in Bori, and they've come and continue exploration there. The head managing director of the MPDC, Mr. Lizara, was now saying to the Ogoni people that I regret what you've been through all the years. We are going to work in a way to better the lives of Ogoni people and all of those things that, we usually would hear at a time like this. I just wish for a bit, not a bit, 100% sincerity.
In
so
the
that
implementation
while
of the
we
promises,
are growing our economy and getting these monies to develop,
don't destroy the environment.
We don't destroy the lives.
What about the cleanup? Let's ask for updates on the cleanup. Yes. Moving on to Daily Trust, major headline. Insecurity, villagers stockpile arms for self-defense. It doesn't bode well. 938 dead as cholera ravages 22 states, including the Federal Capital Territory. Buhari others mourn as General Aguiyi Ironsi's widow dies. Zamfara lawmakers suspend plenary over kidnap of Speaker's father. Court orders resident doctors to suspend strike. Revive grazing reserve only where people are interested. And there's a beautiful picture of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Farouk Yahya, on the left addressing soldiers during his visit to the 2nd Division Nigerian Army in Ibadan yesterday. They look really smart. I wish we see this, more on the front.
So cholera.
Please, let's talk about cholera.
Okay, so far, we have recorded over 33,000 cases of cholera across 22 states, FCT included, and not less than 398 persons have died of cholera. You know, the NCDC named all the states that are, are suffering this, and it says that in Nasarawa State, 51 people lost their lives. 51 people have lost their lives to cholera in Nasarawa State alone. In Taraba State, there are 8 persons who have died. The ministry is saying that a lot of this can be, it's because of the hygienic, how unhygienic we are. Many of the local governments, there's a high level of
this is a local government issue.
No hygiene and that poor open defecation is quite high in these areas. So they're talking to them to, pay more attention to hygiene.
Daily Trust has a report that, states in the northwest, north central are contributing monies to stockpile arms and protect themselves. So villages in Niger, Zamfara, Kaduna, Plateau, and Katsina states are major leading in this. And it's because, they feel helpless and they've decided to resort to what they call assisting the governors. So some governors have started to resorting to using vigilantes to protect these communities, and they think they can also do that. With the call for some governors asking them to buy arms and protect themselves, I think this is a double-edged sword. The same bandits can attack these villages and get arms from them.
Yes, it is not a sustainable approach to solve this problem. Moving on to Nigerian Tribune, major headline. We've taken the story of COVID third wave and the fact that Lagos has recorded 135 deaths, 13 died in Osun in just 1 week. Jos crisis, Ekiti, Enugu evacuate stranded students from UniJos. EFCC arrested the 7 internet fraudsters in Ibadan. Why I told citizens to carry arms by Masari, which actually links with what you're saying. But let's talk about...
EFCC quickly. So they disclosed yesterday that they arrested 37 suspected internet fraudsters in Ibadan, or your town in the state. And they also came out because there was a viral video that went on with Dorothy Batcho, that's the former Big Brother, who said that they broke into her apartment by 5 a.m. and, they met her naked. So EFCC is explaining, saying that she was not even around when they came into that area, but they needed to because they got intelligence reports that there were fraudsters there, and they were able to get about 9 people that they came with a warrant. They tried to, ask for permission to get into the house. The sister refused to allow them in, and so they had to break in. And so they explained why they had to, get out the criminals, that it was just more like a media publicity for Dorothy to say that she ran out naked when they came into the house. But I'm wondering, do they need to do those raids in the middle of the night? Yes, they said she was lying. She just wanted to hide. Do they have to go in the middle of the night?
Yes, I think they do the work at night.
Yes, now sting operation, they'll catch you anytime. Hush Puppy was not at night. We catch them when we can.
Were you going to take any story?
Yes, just Governor of Katsina State, just the last story you took, and he was giving the reasons why he has asked that people should carry arms. Because he says that if you look at it, the security operatives are so thinly spread that every state is struggling with insecurity right now. And sometimes, these people are just folding their arms while these bandits are just going up and down. He says they've had conversations with them where they try to have like a peace, conversation and everything. But these bandits themselves do not have one particular leader. So you have a conversation with one, before you know it, another faction comes up and, they're carrying arms and killing his people. And he feels that it's on...
been talking to?
Yeah, so they're saying they're talking to different people. So another faction comes up and says, well, you didn't speak to us. He said there was a particular faction that they spoke to, and when they went into the bush, they were killed, all of them. So another one rose, you know, so...
Honestly, we have a Hydra-headed challenge in our
Issue.
hands, but this is not the solution. It is not self-help that will solve the problem. Actually, it will just aggravate the problems at hand. As we will say in Nigeria, pray for your country. That's just the end. That's all we can take on Front Page Review for today. When we come back, we go into hot topics. Maybe something light. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Oh, no.
Stay tuned. Your View will be right back.